There's evil down there.
Retribution, anguish and executions await the most haunted team in Nottingham.
What right?
Hello and welcome to Most Haunted. In the centre of Nottingham is a place that's seen so much death. Full apparitions, tortured screams and also ghostly footsteps have all been witnessed by staff and visitors alike. With so much spiritual activity, we just had to come to the Galleries of Justice.
Over the centuries, many thousands of people have entered the building with a sense of dread for their future. The very steps to the entrance were the site of many public executions. There has been a court on this site in Nottingham since at least 1375 and a prison since at least 1449. The Galleries of Justice is now a famous museum that houses 2 Victorian courtrooms and original cells from the 18th and 19th century. We were invited to spend the night to investigate a place that is supposed to be riddled with ghosts.
It's a complete complex of crime and punishment, from police station, courts, and of course Shire Hall. People were brought here, imprisoned, tried here in this very room where I'm sitting now, sentenced of course to many different forms of punishment, from whipping, imprisonment, branding, and of course execution. Some of them actually in front of this building. So there's got to be loads and loads of tormented souls that are still wandering the building.
This is the main entrance hall where people will have waited to have been tried. Can you imagine everybody's emotions running wild? They didn't know whether they were going to be executed or incarcerated. There are 3 main apparitions here: a Victorian gentleman, a soldier and an old lady.
I know at one point that the electrician here, when they were first putting all the electricity and running everything through there, they actually had a really strange experience where everything went completely icy cold so that they could see their breath in front of them. And they ran out and refused to come back. For the whole day they wouldn't return.
This courtroom was last used as a Crown Court in 1986, and it looks exactly the same as it did hundreds of years ago. Executions were handed out in this very room, groans have been heard, and also people have reported seeing dark, ghostly shadows moving from side to side.
Those that were actually sentenced to death here, if you can just imagine the sound of the judge's voice resounding around this room as he placed a black cap on his head and said the following words: "And the sentence of this court is that you be taken back to the jail from whence you came, and from there to a place of lawful execution, where you'll be hanged by the neck until you are dead. And may the Lord have mercy upon your soul, 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 upon your soul."
Many people have heard keys turning in locks. They've also felt an evil presence, so terrified that they've had to leave the building immediately. We don't have a choice. We have to stay.
I had an experience there twice where I've had the door slammed shut in my face when nobody's been down there, and there was absolutely no wind whatsoever. And that was quite scary because obviously something didn't want me down there. And quite a few people have experienced things there.
Wyman, our paranormal investigator, had spent time getting to know the complex layout of the building and the ghost stories. I was nervous about the night ahead and needed some reassurance.
Phil, this is a foreboding place. I do not like it at all. I think especially when the lights go off, I'm going to be pathetic.
Well, that's right. Walking around in the daytime is bad enough. This building, or a building on this location, has been here for about 800 years. Some of the things that happened here weren't particularly pleasant. The atmosphere at night is going to be really bad.
Obviously, we have to be really careful, don't we, because it's a very echoey place, quite big as well.
It is a big place. Sound does travel really well here. We have to be careful that we're not hearing crew members, say, on the other side of the building. So we've got to pay attention and look out for that.
Now, are you going to be doing any trigger objects, anything specific that you're going to be doing tonight?
Well, I'd like to pay attention to the courtroom, specifically the noises that have been heard there. So I'm going to place the voice recorder in that room, also set a trigger object, or maybe in the laundry area.
Right. And what about the courtyard outside? Because that's quite a frightening place. Because it's actually bodies, aren't there, underneath?
That's right. Apparently, when they executed and hanged people here, they buried some of them under the courtyard outside. At night time, I wouldn't particularly want to be there on my own.
So that's a place that will take you, put you on your own?
That's a place will take me, or you, even.
No, we're not doing that tonight.
Okay.
It's too scary a place for anybody to go on their own.
There's so many corridors, there's so many cells, there's so many rooms, and even buildings, that people are obviously going to get disorientated, people are probably going to get lost, and I do genuinely believe that people are going to encounter things tonight.
I think it's going to be really exciting for the Most Wanted crew, because I think they will feel something, particularly in some of the areas here. One of the main ones is probably the pits and the dark cells. That's just typically one of the scariest places just to look at. It's very dark and grisly.
We all had mixed emotions about the night ahead. The Galleries of Justice was a frightening place to be in the day. At night, no one wanted to be alone. We wanted to know who the supposed ghosts were, so we asked psychic Derek Akora to join us. With all of us together, we started our investigation. We began in the main courtroom, where many people had experienced strange noises and dark, ghostly shadows.
Just at this moment, the strongest residual energy that seems to be related to this area itself is this pure hopelessness, feeling of hopelessness. The person standing here from the residual energy, someone who's been tried, someone who's looking at the judge and then ducking the head and what have you at some point in time, and feeling no remorse whatsoever. None whatsoever. And yet, for the hideousness of the feelings that are coming over my shoulders, to my head, to my conscious mind, as if I've just slaughtered and had no absolute remorse about it at all. What makes it worse, the feelings that are coming to me, it's like as if he has slaughtered his own. He's slaughtered his own people, not strangers. And looking down at his, it's a family. And I feel there's youngsters involved here. And I feel he's the father figure, the dad. And his conditions are very, very, very strong here. I feel that's William something. There's also another as well, another who comes, the energy is leaving me here with him and someone else coming all around me. And I don't know why, but I also get this hideous feeling with the name, help me with this, Sam, from the residual, is that surname? Thank you. Pa. I get W and J, Pa. And I get conditions of also great, grotesque, negative feelings if I'm taking people or a person's life with this name as well, right, who stood here.
There's supposed to be activity in this room. People
Yes.
have experienced activity in this room.
Yeah.
I mean, would you say that this was an active place?
Yes, I would, absolutely. But can I just say, I feel the vast majority of this is born out of the thickness of the residual energy, meaning the amounts of people and the mix of people through a long time going back. How many people have been tried here? And, you know, can I also say, a lot of people tried here that actually did not go away from here. It was like as if they were executed. And the further I go down, the more hopeless I feel from going from here, because I feel that as we have justice here, somewhere in the grounds here, I also feel that people who were actually tried, that were not to stay here, they were to go away, like Australia, and they didn't get there. And I'm really, I've said to Sam...
What do you mean they didn't get there?
It's like as if they lost their lives here.
Who would have done that, do you know?
I feel it was the people that were in control of... I can't give you names to this yet, Phil, but when we walk, as we come into that residual energy, maybe this will be opened up.
Would you want to go down? What do you want to do?
Actually, I'd love to, because that's where I feel as if, you know, I'm drawn.
Well, the steps are behind you. Do you want to
Can
lead
we
the
go
way?
down there?
Yeah?
Yes.
Was the ghost of William just haunting the courtroom, or did he venture downstairs? The corridor where people had witnessed cell doors closing on their own was the first place that we stopped.
Who? Say it again. Bentley. He walks up and down here. Bentley? Bentley? Bentley. D. Bentley. There was something that was covered up that wasn't clear, that shouldn't have happened, linked with that name.
Right.
D. Bentley. It's either David or initial D.
Yeah. Okay.
Bentley.
Do you know how far back this goes, Derek?
Oh gosh. I don't know. 19 something. Maybe I can get that if it's given to me as we go forward. Oh. Okay. Can we go through here, Evie?
You go
Just gonna-
first.
Okay.
I don't like it.
With this here, I'm saying the floors are just a mess. Absolutely. I'm not seeing as they are now, but as I get that mess, it's like a person, they're lying. More than one person, up to 5, 6 people, males here, lying in their own urine, in their own feces, and it's like, ooh. This is a cell of madmen. Madmen, it would have sent people absolutely crazy. And they'd be sounding off crazily, shouting and screaming, and it was torment. This is what, not just the only one, but this is one of the cells of torment. So I wouldn't be at all surprised whether there's been like records of activity here. Okay.
There's certainly something horrible about this cell.
It's
You
not
can
very nice,
feel.
is it?
How does everybody feel?
Yeah, I must admit, I do feel a bit nauseous.
Yes.
Not so much a headache, but yeah, a little bit sick.
Sick to the stomach.
I don't know
I
if it's
feel
talking
sick
about
to the
the
stomach.
sick and stuff, but I do feel nauseous.
It's a natural feeling to come to you all. You might not be picking up everything in the fragrances of the dirty smells, but what you are picking up is something that you're meant to pick up, and it will hit your senses that way. You could, by the time if you stayed in too long, maybe headaches, nausea.
I'm starting to get a headache now.
Yeah.
I'm not. That's not because you just said it.
No, no.
It just feels like, you know, when you've walked into a room and it's really, really hot and stifling and you
Yeah.
can't breathe. That's how I'm feeling. And as soon as I walked in, I felt that.
Yes. Oh, there was one man kept. Oh. Okay, who are you? I'm getting a name. I'm getting a voice.
Oh, great.
Good. Come on then. Again, I don't know what the link is, but it's got to be initials linked with them, the J and the W, and I get Armstrong.
JW.
And I feel that it's sometimes here, okay? Now, his energy, he walks here, he's active. He is
in
active.
this room or active throughout the whole
I
building?
feel on this actual floor line. Now, it could be, because I've got that here now, that means that he spent time, his hideous time, here.
Do you know what he's responsible for doing?
I don't at the moment, Phil, but I'm going to inquire. Whatever it was very notorious. Whatever, in the connections with his energies, it was notorious. Should we move a little bit? Should we go a little bit and see
Yeah,
what,
can we
what
get out of
happens
here?
You're still feeling...
Yeah, it's not nice.
This particular part of the building seemed to be affecting some members of the crew. Would these feelings disappear or just become more intense? I I wanted Derek to go to the washroom area. This place seemed to be where a lot of activity was based. Objects move on their own, and women's voices have been heard.
I know there is one, if not two, ladies who are active here, and yet I don't feel that they were put to, say the words, put to the death in either hanging or anything like that, but for some reason they are around this area. I want to copy a woman's busyness coming through here. Long skirt, and I've got the stripes here, and I've got the thing on, the white thing on the hat, and it's sort of like she's very narrow-shouldered, and yet bucks into here, and it's as if, oh, she's a right one. She's got a right temper on her, and it's like, woe betide any of the other ladies if they don't do it. It's like she's a supervisor, something like this. Come on, get away, and do this. Can we just walk through?
Yeah.
Because I feel as if her energies comes walking
She's really
through here.
busy.
Yes, absolutely. Now, the essence, again, in this particular room contains a lot of the energies of experience of movement, of female, more so rather than men. And I feel at any given time there would be a gathering here. I don't know why, but I get the females, but I also get the gathering of children as well in this space.
Right.
And I feel as if there's one, it's got to be her. She's got to be the one that's the wagging of the finger. Her name would be, in our given day now, we would call her Elizabeth. Mm-hmm. Elizabeth. But it's more Liza or Eliza. Mm-hmm. She has a very, very protective view that hasn't changed.
What does she do when she's active here?
I feel that she does a number of things. I feel as if she could do... Sorry, have you seen this?
Hmm. Oh, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the lady. That depicts the lady.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel that she could, her activity would come to this bed area, without a doubt. What I'm picking up here is the smell, a very pungent smell of soap, like a soap smell, like a carbolic type thing. Ooh, it's pungent. I feel something could have been found in this area. That she'd actually left or she brought into the atmosphere. I can't say exactly what it is, but something that would belong to her.
And she wasn't a prisoner?
No. Hold on just a moment. Okay. Was she a prisoner, please? Well, if Sam's words is, she was incarcerated, but she wasn't a prisoner.
She was incarcerated, but wasn't in prison. So she was like given some kind of duty because she
A
was...
role,
Yeah.
yes. I feel as, and she would have been so dutiful that she would have been looked upon as being the head and watching over the women. Okay, that's Simpson. 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 But on judging on the energy levels here, there's a lot of residual energy here. Not so much, at this point, the spiritual activity.
Right, okay.
Let's go there.
I felt it was time to turn all the lights off in the building. Would this create some paranormal activity? We hoped so. The exercise yard is known to have bodies under the concrete. The jail would bury their dead in this place and put their headstones on the walls. We knew who the headstones belonged to, but would Derek?
You know, right now, we have someone who's not just listening to us, he's hearing us. It's an individual, it's a man, and I'm very aware of him to the left of us here, behind Ivy and by you, Phil. If I use just the basic words, it's like taking the piss, but in his time, he wouldn't have used those words, and it's like as if he used to walk up and down, he had to walk up and down here, this area, an awful lot. But there's a boy, and he did develop there. In age, I'd say 5, 6, a little boy. And, you know, it's because of this thing's atmosphere, he runs whenever he sees him. So I've got to take it, these two are active here.
Is he there now?
His energy's there. If you go to the 3 steps, like 3rd step down, his energy towards the wall. Oh, thank you. He's pointing something. Is it this here? Which one, son? Which one? Point. Give me your energy. Let me go up there and see if I can just get his energy.
Tell me which one from up there, Derek.
Okay.
Ah, yeah.
Ivy?
Yeah?
Not that one.
This one?
No. The very end one. He's pointing there. He's the one.
The little boy?
No, he's talking about this man.
Right.
Is it W on there?
Yes?
William.
Right.
This is, yes. Whenever this boy and this William are in this space here, when they've developed here, this boy has come running down the steps, and I'll do exactly what he does. He sees him, he grunts and shouts and screams at the boy, and the boy, through fear, boom, it's this area here. The boy goes through the wall, the spirit boy,
Right.
through fear of him.
Oh,
This is
right.
it. This is the energy. This is the energy. This is the vortex where William comes through. Here. Oh, come on then. Give me more. Oh, God, yes. I'm slitting someone's throat. I'm slitting more than one. I'm slitting them. He's butchered his family. He's slit each throat. His entrance is here, and then he comes through the building. But he marches up and down here in his own personal torment. This one was hung. When the boy's energy comes, especially to the top of the steps, and sees him, it's like as if this soul, like this at the boy, and he doesn't even make the full run. He goes through there.
Oh, shame.
He just goes out. But this is negative, and it's nasty, this vortex.
Well,
It's evil.
he's right. You are right. Yes.
Right?
Yeah, you're
it's
right.
evil with this.
That's right.
There's a family of 6.
Well, apparently the guy whose headstone, as it were, this belongs to, actually slaughtered his family.
His wife and his kids.
His wife and his kids, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Who? Oh, there's evil down there.
When you say down there, what do you mean?
Down below.
Should we go?
Can we? Yes,
Yeah.
please.
There was one place that seemed to have a terrifying effect on every member of our crew. Under the jail is a warren of medieval caves that no one, even the owners and employees of the jail, will enter alone.
The residual energy is throwing out mental pictures to me of... The only way I can describe it is that we've got gatherings of people who are not necessarily anything at all to do with the upper levels of, like, jail and what have you, and living here. And the most crazy, absolute silly thing, and you will laugh completely at this, what I'm getting now is a mental picture of people down here. And also, you know, when cockerels, you've heard of fighting cockerels?
Yeah.
And I seem to be drawn, for some reason, towards the end there, and I see the feeling, and like the two birds fighting and what have you. So I feel that maybe this is one of the people that were housed down here at that given time. Some of their fun and what have you was in at this level, having cockerels fighting each other. Now, I know that sounds absolutely ludicrous, but this is what I'm getting. All the residual energy, and also people chunnering and talking and what have you, and whatever was going on the higher levels, really, but they were oblivious best part of the time of it. No doubt they had to come up for, whatever they were doing, but they would spend long periods of time down on these levels here. And there's also... And I was getting this just a little bit earlier on. I don't know why. What was coming and flashing into my mind and bringing a mental picture. I don't know if there's a castle nearby or something, but I feel as if the further we go on, there's some kind of either connection or something. I can't quite make it out what it is, but something to do with a castle. Right. I also... with that mental picture on the residual energy, I'm smelling ale and what have you. And did you hear that at the back of you?
Who was that?
It was someone cracked at the back of you there.
What the hell was that?
Yeah.
You heard it?
That was like a glass
Boulder or something. Or...
You see it?
Something
A
whacked
stone.
there. and smelling ale and what have you.
It sounded like a rock being thrown at another rock.
Didn't it?
Yeah. That end is possibly, in that section there is where they used to have the cockerels fighting.
Nothing coming from the top of this. Actually, nothing can fall off the... I mean, it's dust.
Can you smell?
What's the matter?
I thought something just whispered in my ear.
What?
I honestly thought something just whispered in my ear.
Someone just went shh like that.
No, it was like something.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Okay, well, you know, it stands to reason that we're going to... I feel fairly certain that we're going to get quite a bit of activity down these lower levels to, in this investigation tonight.
You all right? You okay? What's the matter? What did you hear?
Jeanette Goldtree and Lisa Douglas are the managers of the jail, and they had decided to join us in the caves. They weren't counting on witnessing something themselves.
Pitch black, so we couldn't see anything, but it sounded really close. It freaked us out, actually.
What sort of sound was it?
It sounded like a footstep or sort of a shuffle.
Oh, God.
Well, I got to say, just before that noise at the back, I know this happens in the dark and everything. That's what I put it down to. But I really thought I felt or saw a shadow or something in the back.
Yeah. Exactly, you're right. You should say that because I thought the same as well. Where I was stood, I looked round to my right-hand side and I thought I saw a shadow of a young boy of some description at the side of me. But I didn't want to say anything because Derek was speaking.
Touched me.
Oh,
It's all right.
did you hear that?
Yes.
What the hell was that? No.
Yeah,
What was
it's
that?
your left shoulder. So it's happening again. So
Did you
just
hear
call
that? It was like a rumbling. Did
Yeah.
you hear it, Tom?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not standing there.
What's directly above us here?
If we walkie-talkie Richard and say, has anybody that you know of been up and down that corridor?
Okay, we're in the laundry, yeah.
And the laundry.
Hello, Richard. Hi, can you confirm whether anybody has been walking in the corridor or the laundry area?
Nothing too deep.
It's not going.
God.
So this might help. Richard's still at the monitor room. All 5 girls are accounted for in the crew room. Nobody else is around.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you hear that, Tom? You got
Thanks,
it.
Sue.
Okay.
We all felt that we were definitely not on our own. Something was in the cave. As we all left to go back upstairs, Carl the director and Rick decided to stay.
It's all round here. What was that?
Turn around. No.
I can't see anything like that. Yeah, it's in back there. Whoa, fucking hell, okay.
Why is it when we leave?
Is there anyone there? Do you want us to stay? How you feeling, Carl?
Bearing in mind, I'm
quite freaked, but I want to get to the bottom of it.
yeah, I'm freaked, but I'm kind of. I don't feel frightened like I've been in other places. It's almost like something doesn't want us to go because every time we seem to leave.
Look, I got fresh tape. Here.
That was right around you.
Yes, it was. It came right around here.
Quite scary knowing the fact that there's obviously something throwing stuff down there or banging or whatever, but...
Is it throwing it or is it just
Well, I don't know.
it?
Well, I don't know. Throw, bang, move, something drop, I don't know.
Well, the first one shouldn't.
Rick and Carl were in a place that was known for its terrifying atmosphere. How long would they last, and would they experience anything ghostly? Rick and Carl had decided to stay on their own in the tunnels. Earlier, we had all witnessed strange noises. Would the boys experience anything paranormal?
What?
Right. Go. Did you see anything?
I don't know.
Was that over here? Let's just go up here. I couldn't have come from down there, could it? Shit, there. That door's closed. They wouldn't close the door on us, would they?
I'm getting really tingly all up my back.
Are you?
Oh, it's getting really, really cold. Come put your hand here,
Where? Oh my God, that is freezing. That is freezing. Remember, right on top of us is the wash house, isn't it?
Well, that's where that load.
Isn't it in the wash house?
Yeah, footsteps have been heard in the wash house, but also as well, there hasn't stuff been moved up there? Because apparently there's the bins that are full of water have moved, haven't they, in there? So that could be, that's what banging up there. It's right above us.
I'll tell you what, let's open this door.
It's got this thing, you know when you feel like someone's watching you?
Well, let's Gordon Bennett.
You have to be a fucking nutcase to be down there on your own. What? We're going to Gordon Bennett for? Mate, it's getting fucking freezing here again where I am.
This strange light anomaly moves slowly, looks impressive, and is very bright. But when we look closely at the tape, you can see what we think are legs. This suggests to us that this orb could be a spider. We had all decided to split into groups to cover the entire building. Richard Felix, Phil Wyman, Tom, John and myself had decided to head for the jail area. On our way down, we were all aware of a sensor that was making an annoying noise. Unfortunately, this was normal and we couldn't switch it off, we just had to put up with it.
Yeah, isn't it chill? Jesus!
Right. Just a door.
Yeah, I know, but why is the door going?
No, doors don't do that. Listen, what was that?
I think it's people.
No, it was a door inside this building.
Yeah, no.
I did. Yes. Fucking hell! Sorry. I think you'll find it's a firework.
It's not
That
a
wasn't a door.
firework.
That was. I'm sure it was.
No, it wasn't. It was a door.
No, that wasn't a door. That was
Richard,
bang,
it was
bang,
a
bang.
door.
Three bangs.
It was a door. It was not a firework.
That was a big bang on the door, and that was right next to us.
That wasn't fireworks, Richard. It was just there.
I know what you're saying, but
It wasn't fireworks. I'm telling you, it was.
that's not nice. But just stay there. Let me go another door.
Should we go another way?
Because that's what it sounded, because it was more than one bang.
It wasn't.
I'm
It
telling
was
you.
a door. It was a door.
But which door?
Listen to me.
Oh, sorry.
That was. What door did we just shut off?
That's what I'm on. What door could possibly be bang? Those don't. It's not these big doors. They can't bang like that. In fact, let me just go and demonstrate.
Telling you that.
It's not that. Nothing to do with that.
What about that door? I mean, that door was that shut like? No, that was.
Yes, that's screwed. You can't open that one. But I still think
I think it was something down.
that was that one.
Let's go for it.
Something's going on. No, I suggest we stand here and wait. And be prepared for that.
Oh, shut up! Through there, is that not the...
Here we go again.
There's no footsteps under there. I can see. Look.
He's coming from these two doors. Well, let's just wait.
I can see footsteps. Is anybody behind that door?
We can see footsteps at the bottom.
Come on, let's go down the door.
Kick it down.
They're moving now.
You do realise this leads back into our building. So there's no way that anybody, look, can be here. There's nobody around.
Let's go and find some people and see if they...
Hang on. Wait a minute, we've got the walkie-talkie. Now, walkie-talkie up to Suzanne
Richard.
and say, who is there now? Who is left wandering around this building that's not accounted for?
Suzanne, can you hear me? Over.
Richard, it's Carl here. We've got Wendy, Tor, Suze, Richard, Olivia, Stuart, myself. Craig's gone home, and the only people I know that are doing a vigil is the people up with you.
Out to you.
We had all heard a distinct banging on the door, and Tom and myself had seen a pair of feet under the door. It wasn't until we edited this programme that we came across this noise. We cannot explain what the noise is. It does sound like a scream. What do you think? We had decided to go back into the caves. After what Carl and Rick experienced, I wanted to see if anything would happen to us.
Right, listen to me. If anybody feels scared or anything, don't run. I'm not going to run. I'll just grab onto somebody, but I won't run.
Do that.
Nobody run and leave anybody, okay?
Sure, because
There's no running.
Tell you what, it's quite amazing. You see, oh, this is stone, but can you see that these are all the marks, the lines made by the chisels of the people that hacked this out? Look at it.
But this stuff is like made of
sandstone.
It's really soft, isn't it?
Yeah, it's sandstone.
How long ago was this hacked out?
These are probably medieval.
What, this cave?
Going back to the 1300s. Oh yeah. Up against the wall, then you know nothing can come up behind you. Yeah. Listen. Banging. Shh. You heard that?
That was banging.
I didn't hear her banging.
Yeah. 4, 1, no 3.
Do it again, I think.
You don't think those bangs could have been that door again, could you?
Oh yeah, no, it would have been.
I don't know. Did you just hear it then?
Yeah.
It did seem peculiar that we were hearing similar noises to that of Carl and Rick. It definitely felt as if something was in the caves with us. On our way out, Phil and I heard a noise that we will never forget.
Whoa! What's that? What? Stand still. Stand still. But don't panic.
Hang on, you just ran.
Just heard like a slight shuffling noise and then I heard it.
Yeah, I heard that. Was it down there? I thought it was from where you running to.
No, it was in there, I'm telling you.
I didn't hear the shuffling, but I heard it.
Yeah, it was like something was gagging.
Back in there?
Yeah, I heard it from in there. It was like it was gagging. Like some...
Are we going back in?
Whoa! Whoa! I think you're right. These tunnels are nothing. This is far more.
It was gagging. It was like something being sick.
There's nothing here that we can see. Is there anybody here? Is there anything in here with us now that for whatever reason doesn't want us to be here? If so, you better let us know now.
This noise sounds like a person retching, and it came from the bottom of the cave. Whatever is down there, whether it be some kind of energy or ghost, I would not advise anyone to stay there on their own. Carl and Rick had teamed up with Stuart. They had decided to go to what can only be described as the pit. This would have been a place where prisoners were left to rot. Ghostly screams and moans are heard coming from this area, along with a feeling of complete despair.
I'm absolutely shitting myself.
Really?
Yeah, this location, yeah.
Wow.
Well, because all day long, I mentioned it to Carl earlier on and Derek, I actually felt it not 5 minutes ago. All day long, I've been feeling very, very lightheaded, as though I've been swaying. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Derek said it's something to do with the vortex, that's it.
Everybody so far has felt something, whether it be this lightheaded feeling that Stuart's been saying. Yeah, we've all felt that at some point today. I'm feeling it quite a lot in here. Is anyone here in this room with us? Please try to make yourself known to us by knocking. So you? Oh, can you hear that? Tap. Shh. Is that... That's me.
Can't be anyone else because all the other crew are on the other side of the building. There's only us three on this side. You know, I can't see a thing. It's pitch black. I can't see Jack. Tell you what.
I think I can see a little red light on the camera over there.
Well, if something happened in here, I'd trip up. I'd hang myself trying to get out of this place in a hurry. I really would.
And you get a feeling you're being watched.
Yeah, do you know?
No, yeah.
Do you know, I've had that feeling ever since I've been in this.
Yeah, from up there. As if
It's almost like I want to keep my eyes
sort of
transfixed up there. But was that you that was trying to make a noise there, or that made the noise?
freaked out. What is behind these walls, do you know?
I don't know.
Has a banging noise been here from here?
From here they have, yeah.
Okay.
During the night, other groups did investigate different parts of the building, but nothing untoward happened. It was interesting that a lot of activity seemed to centre around the caves and not in the supposed haunted areas. Phil's experiments did not show anything unusual. The trigger object that was placed in the washroom did not move, and no noises or voices were caught on the dictaphone. Light anomalies were plentiful, but this one caught in the dark cell is the most intriguing.
I knew this was going to be a good one when I arrived. It's a place of death and destruction, torment. So there's bound to be ghosts. I knew that anyway.
This person basically butchered, if you like, which it was, a whole family. Would you believe what family? And it appears his own family.
We heard what I can only describe as a guttural coughing sound. Now, this, to me, absolutely shocked myself and Yvette to the extent that we almost ran out of the location. There was nobody around, nobody was in the building with us at all. So that is totally unexplainable.
We actually got to the area where some steps were and heard this very loud banging. And it frightened us to death, really did, got me. But then again, when Yvette starts to shout and shriek, then it's infectious, and fear, of course, is infectious, and it's spread through all of us. I went and pushed the door, nobody there. Absolutely nobody. There was nobody on the premises that would have done it, and in my opinion, it was real poltergeist activity that took place there.
Overall, I thought the investigation went really well, and I must say I'm very impressed with the Galleries of Justice. There is definitely something about this place, whether it's actually in this courtroom or indeed in the caves underneath the location.
We've had a damn good night, and we've got something to show for it. It's been great.
When Derek normally does his walk-arounds, he usually comes up with both the first name and the surname of the person he's picking up on. On this occasion, he comes up with just the surname and the initials. Now that's a little bit curious, especially given that in the Galleries of Justice, which is essentially a museum, there's numerous places around the location where these records are available and this information is given, but only the initials are given. So it's very difficult to assess whether or not Derek has picked up the information from there or whether he really is speaking to spirits.
Has a banging noise been here from here?
From here, yeah.
The light anomaly that's picked up in the pit, on the face of it, seems very unusual. It's an odd shape, so it's probably not like to be explained in terms of maybe a piece of dust or a fly picking up the light. But what it could be is it could be a cobweb that's reflecting the light.
Yes.
Fucking hell, sorry.
I think you'll find it's a firework.
There seems to be a lot going on with the vets group when they're hearing the bangs on the door, and at one point they seem to see a person's feet on the other side of the door, but when they open the door, nobody seems to be there. But for me, I'm not sure if we can really rule out that somebody wasn't there playing tricks. With regards to the ghostly scream that's picked up by the mics, on the face of it, it sounds very unusual, very strange, and very difficult to explain. But can we really rule out the possibility that it wasn't just simply a car screeching?
We've investigated old prisons before, but never quite like this one. I don't think myself or any other member of the crew will ever forget our night here. Until the next time, sleep tight.
That is supposed to be this man's poo.
Yeah, all right, hurry up. Derek's picking up on stuff. He's acting funny. My arse won't get down.